I want to make you guys think. I was thinking about this entire border crisis, and there's some things that you should make note of. And I do believe that this is actually gearing the world back to another event of a second lockdown. Okay, just hang on with me. Think about this, all right? The border crisis. This is something that was intentionally done. We know that. Think about it. What government is going to want to allow people to come in anyhow to their territory, even to the point of possibly welcoming in their own enemies to infiltrate them? It's unheard of. But you have to understand, the only reason why this is happening is because your government has already been hijacked. Biden is not the one who is in charge. Biden is not the one who's running the show. He isn't. President Trump also made a remark. He made a statement concerning that. Basically, I'll explain later. But Trump basically made a statement about how there's an imminent threat, and pretty much America is at the brink of a war. All right. Now, think about the following. As I mentioned, this is connected. The migrant crisis is to prepare the world for the next lockdown. How so is the question. Think. Right now, Americans have what is called the Bill of Rights and Freedom, and they also have the Constitution. Now, in the Constitution, there is something called the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is what allows people to be able to have, guns for their own protection. And the reason why there is the Second Amendment was given there is that in the event, not only is it for self-defense, but also in the event that the government should rise up against the people, should tyranny ever rise up, should there be any type of a government that rises to oppress its people, then the people have a right to bear arms so that they can even, they can put the government back in check. And they can, remember, this is the very foundation of America. The very foundation of America was built upon the, pretty much, as harsh as it sounds, it's built upon the shedding of much blood. Now, here's the thing. The Second Amendment is the one thing that is preventing your country from being fully taken over. So, which leads us to the migrant crisis. Put your thinking caps on, all right? If you feel lazy and you don't want to think, come on, take that laziness cap, put it aside, put your thinking cap on, put it on, and let's do this together, all right? Check this out. Do you know that, and I'm going to show you guys the headlines. Do you know that as of recently, there's been a lot of Chinese migrants coming in. The Chinese are coming in, a lot. They're coming in to America, and they are the ones who are now gaining momentum in large numbers. The Chinese are the ones who are coming into America and entering through the southern border. Not only that, there's many people from the Middle East that are coming into America, and furthermore, there are many people also from Africa, from all kinds of third world countries. They're all coming to America through the southern border. Now, remember what event was the one that brought the first plague, or not the first plague, the first lockdown upon the world? Think about it, all right? The first event, the event that brought about the massive lockdown worldwide is C-19, COVID, which ultimately then led to the implementation of the jabs, which obviously led to many people receiving the mRNA shots and all those things, right? We know that. Well, the jabs is the mRNA. Now watch, think about it. It was that crisis that actually caused your government to tell you, stay home, don't travel, stay home, don't go anywhere. Guess what? Your freedom your privacy, your rights were compromised at that very moment. Do you know that? Your constitutional rights were suspended momentarily when COVID happened. 2020, everybody was given a curfew, stay home, lockdown. You see, God revealed this to us so that we know what is going to come to pass. Here is wisdom. Think. Do you know, friends, that even now we are getting ready for a second lockdown to come? But this lockdown, make note that this lockdown is going to be a much more bigger lockdown. How so? Think about the migrants. What countries are they coming from? You see, in China, there's a disease, there's a virus, there's a lung virus that is plaguing people in China. Observe these headlines. It says, Chinese migrants are the fastest growing group crossing from Mexico into U.S. at southern border. Chinese migrants flock to U.S.-Mexico border on economic pressures. Why are so many Chinese crossing the southern border, and why is it that there are so many Africans also crossing the southern border? Well, we understand that many Africans are also coming there, crossing the southern border because they want a better opportunity. Why are there so many Middle Eastern men also crossing at the southern border to enter into America? I'm trying to make you guys think here, friends. You see, right now, this is just an issue of illegal migration to America. The bigger issue is what your leaders are going to do to capitalize on these migrants. You see, brothers and sisters, I have reason to believe that the government is allowing, the CIA is allowing, they want these migrants to come into America for a reason. And that reason, I do believe, is to make America vulnerable so that America can actually be prepared for a transition into globalization. This illegal migration is going to be used as a scapegoat for a coming crisis. This will be the catalyst for the coming lockdown. You see, brothers and sisters, I have reason to believe that this illegal migration is going to be used as scapegoat for the next pandemic called Disease X. I mean, think about this. How are you going to justify a virus that behaves like Ebola, a virus that attacks the respiratory system, such as the one from China? How are you going to justify a virus that behaves almost like a fungal infection, a virus that is resistant to all antibiotics, a virus that is without cure or treatment? How are you going to justify this except if you welcome or open your doors and allow anybody to come in illegally, and then when this virus is released to the public, then you can be able to use those illegal migrants as scapegoats as to the reason why there is a deadly pandemic that has started in the country, which means people are going to have to go under lockdown again, which ultimately means curfews must be implemented, which ultimately means the Constitution can now be, quote unquote, temporarily suspended. And all this is beginning right on time, exactly as according to the words of the World Economic Forum. You see, friends, it is all by design. This migrant crisis will be used as a scapegoat for a plethora of many things to come. And it's not just going to be in terms of public health threat, but I believe that the economic instability of the nation is going to be also blamed upon the migrant crisis at the southern border. Also, I do believe civil war is going to be linked to the migrant crisis at the southern border. Division of America is already taking place because of primarily the migrant crisis at the southern border. Do you see how this illegal migration is causing America to be torn down? and to be torn apart. Do you see how the illegal migration is connected to all these things? Observe this headline. Everyone was screaming. Passenger dies mid-flight after blood gushed out of his nose and mouth. Another headline. Flight from hell. Husband, 63, dies beside his wife when liters of blood shoot out of his nose and mouth all over the interior of the plane in front of screaming passengers flying from Bangkok to Germany. You see, friends, this right here is something that relates to what Ebola is capable of doing. But this was not Ebola. This right here sounds like something that a Marburg virus is able to do, but it's not listed as Marburg virus. Here's the main concern. Everybody who's on that flight just got exposed to something that potentially could be very deadly and can be very contagious. But every single passenger who witnessed this horrific sight, upon landing, all of them just simply went home and went to their destinations without any type of quarantine. How do we know that something has not just been released out there? How do we know? We don't know. Only time will tell. Now think about it. As we are, you know what the World Economic Forum says? They were saying they are projecting disease X. This is what they call it. Disease X that is being forecasted to begin either at the end of election year or sometime in 2025. That's what they're saying, right? How can they predict that? Are they gods? Do they predict the future? No, they're the ones who are shaping the future. They're the ones who are making the future. They know what they're doing. That's just their plan, is to do A, B, C, D. So I want you to think about this now. You've got all of these people that are flooding in at the southern border. Yeah, they're flooding in at the southern border, and then it's on election year, and this is a crisis that is causing a division upon America. And now all of a sudden, they're talking about another sickness that has already begun, the fungal sickness, and then there's also the different sicknesses that are in all those other countries. Now you've got the perfect storm, this is the calm before the storm. This is where the wind is beginning to blow gently, and then it begins to pick up speed. So as the wind begins to pick up speed, what are they now beginning to get ready to do? As the wind of the storm is picking up, your leaders are beginning to play into this narrative, saying, oh, we've got this different disease and this different virus, this different plague has just begun. It's happening in this place and that place, and that is going to this state and that state. So everybody, we gotta have a lockdown again. 2 weeks to flatten the curve all over again. See, friends, this is why I'm telling you right now, the people of the Most High need to be working together. You have no choice but to work together. The people of God ought to be working together, friends. You ought to be working together. You should be coming together, banding together. Get land together. Go to, do you have people who you can be able to come together and build communities with? It's time to do that. Get yourselves ready to leave the grid or to leave the dependency upon the government. Come out of that. Be separate. It's time for us to think outside the box. You see, here's the thing. While all the different migrants are coming in, because you've got these mad scientists which have taken this vials of different types of viruses, I do believe that this thing has already been engineered. It's already been engineered. They have already engineered the most sophisticated plague or disease or a virus and all it's just waiting for is the green light for it to be released. And what perfect opportunity! Allow the migrants to come in and then use them as the scapegoats. Blame it on them. All the viruses, the plagues, the sicknesses, blame it on the migrants. That's the plan. Friends, do you know your world leaders, want these illegal migrants in America because these migrants are going to be the scapegoat that are going to be used. These migrants are being allowed to come into America because they have a key role to play. They shall be blamed for the problems coming upon the country, coming upon the nations. They are going to be the ones to blame. Watch what happens. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying. These migrants are going to be the main scapegoats that are going to be blamed for all the nation's problems. Collapse of economy, blame the migrants. High inflation, blame the migrants. Diseases, new viruses, new sicknesses, new lockdowns, blame the migrants. They're the ones who came from all these different countries. They're the ones who are coming here. They brought all these things. Blame it on the government. Blame it on the migrants. They're the ones who came and they're the ones who brought all these things. This is how they're going to play the narrative. The migrants are being used for a reason. These are pawns in the hands of the elite. You think Biden's the one who's running the show? You think so? No, he's not the one running the show. Obviously not. His brain can't be able to remember things. He's not the one that's running the show. He's not the one calling the shots. Furthermore, if you notice the Biden administration, they know that they look like fools. They know that they look dumb in front of the media. We know what happened with the whole election. We know all of that. Here's the thing, friends, I'm telling you, the way that things are going, it's time for the people of God to awaken from slumber. Time for the people of God to awaken from slumber. This migrant crisis is going to be one thing that will cause major division in America. It already has begun to cause the division, and this division is going to open old wounds, and this division is going to get much, much bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You're going to see how America itself is so vastly divided. More than half of America right now is against Joe Biden. They could break out. Texas can easily split out and take 25 other states with it. That can happen. It can happen. California can split if they want and take other Democratic states with them also. Friends, I tell you, there's a lot of things for us, we could talk about this forever and everything, but I'm just trying to make you guys think about some of the observations. This is just a quick piecing together of some of those things, but I want you to do a lot of the thinking. We're gonna talk. I'm gonna break down a little bit of these things. I'm gonna break down these things so you can actually see more of it. This is just let me do it this way. Let me just introduce this subject to you, and then watch as we go to expand on it, and you're gonna be mind blown at some of the things that actually is being said on the news, and you're gonna be mind blown at how everything is just falling together, friends. I'm telling you, these people think that they're clever, yeah. Well, they'll only to those who they fool. But if you're with the Most High, you cannot be fooled, because He will reveal to you things ahead of time. Friends, I tell you, this migrant crisis is going to be a catalyst for much more crisis to come in the land. But I don't want you guys to focus upon that and think this is it, it's too late, blah blah blah. No, I want you to take the time now to make sure that you make your decision. It's time for us to make our decision and to work our salvation with fear and trembling, and to turn to the Most High even now while we have that time. All right? So, I'm not going to hold you off. Let's open up this conversation. Feel free to comment below. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And so that way when I post a video, you'll be able to be notified of it. But I don't want to hold you up for too long. Thank you for tuning in and for joining me. This is the Converse 7. I am your host, Emmanuel Okonga. If you've been blessed, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Thank you for joining me. You took good care of yourselves. Be blessed. I'll see you shortly in the next video.